you. I just want to welcome all of you and thank you. All I can say about this day is this is the day the Lord has made. It was really a beautiful day and a beautiful ceremony, and Andy, you just did an awesome job, buddy. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was moving. One thing I did notice about this group was the men, by the way, who seemed to have a lot more emotion. Tori's dad and I were just sitting there crying, and the rest of you guys were smiling, laughing, and having fun. So, I do want to just say, you wait for a day like this in your children's lives, right? And you start early and pray for them their entire life, hoping they'll find the right, mate, the one that God has chosen for them. And Rob and I were talking earlier today and saying, this has been an ordained moment in God's eyes, right? That He really put the two of these people together, Tori and Aaron. And I had the privilege, and I do call it a privilege, to spend some time at Aaron's bachelor party. Who invites their father to their bachelor party? Aaron Nygaard does. Thank you, But what I heard is just this whole story from all of his friends and the people, and Andy talked about today, the heart, and the relationship that these guys have with each other. It's really an incredible testimony to the Lord, and the fact that they just love each other unconditionally. They prayed over Aaron multiple times. I'm sure the same happened with Tori's group, but that is unusual these days. And I said, this group gives me hope for the future, right? That with all the crazy things going on, young people like this who make that commitment early in their life and choose Jesus first, that really makes a big difference. So, with that, I guess I'll just say grace and pray, and we'll enjoy the rest of the evening together. So, children, Heavenly Father, I just thank you, God, for this wonderful time together, a time of worship and fellowship, a time to acknowledge that you indeed are at the center of relationships, especially in marriage, where you become the center of that bond. And there are some ups and downs on that journey, but it's the deep commitment, the commitment to the Lord that can really keep us together in those journeys. And all of us who've been married for any period of time know that it has its highs and it has its lows. But with you in the center, those issues can be resolved. And as people said today, just join Aaron and Tori in prayer throughout the time, and we hope that they'll be comfortable reaching out to us, Lord, whenever they need help or assistance. That's what the family of God is about having the ability to have relationships together. So we'd ask you bless this food, bless this fellowship, bless this evening, give Tori and Aaron safe travel both tonight to Indianapolis and on to Hawaii for their honeymoon. Thank you, Lord, for all the people who've joined us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
I wasn't going to speak. Those that you know me real well know that I'm kind of quiet, kind of reserved a little bit, but I had a drink. I met Mr. Bud over here, but I wasn't going to say anything. And last night I was laying in bed thinking, what can I share? About life. Share something with the kids that they can take with them, kind of learn from. And the more I thought about it, I wanted to keep it simple, and I just wanted to share with them to just enjoy life. Okay? Don't take it for granted. Life is short. It goes so quick. You guys are what? Most of it? 22, 23? You next step, looking down the road, you be 25, and you'll wonder where those 3 years went. After that, you're going to be cruising to 30. And you're going to want to know where those 5 years went. They're going to go faster than the 2 years previous. Well, it doesn't get any slower. You turn 30, you're looking to 40, 40 to 60. And then you're right here where I'm at. You're giving your kids away. Okay? And it's a blessing, but it's sad because those years go so quick. And think about the things that maybe you should have done, you didn't do, times that maybe you should have spent with them and you didn't. Just slow your roll. Enjoy life. Okay? Life is such a blessing. Don't take for granted those moments. Just slow life down. Okay? That's my advice to you.
Well, what an honor and privilege it is to stand before all you guys today and just share in this moment with Aaron and Tori and just their coming together in marriage. What a beautiful thing. But I want to say thanks to each of you guys for being here and making the arrangements. I know weddings aren't cheap to attend, so thank you. You guys are all here because in some way you guys have had an impact and an effect on their journey. So that just means a lot to me as Aaron's brother. So I'm going to start this thing by talking to Tori and sharing a few things that may give her a more complete picture of the kind of guy Aaron actually really is. So, number one, all right, yeah, there's a list. Don't put the tidy whities past your shopping list when Aaron tells you he needs more undergarments. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. In fact, you actually may need to buy a big 24-pack from Costco. Because there's this memory that we have of Aaron when he pulled them all out of my dad's drawer and put them all on at the same time for a little cushion for his Easter. So, I don't know if that's still a trend, but I'm not looking, I'll leave that to you for it. Number two. Stock ample supplies of butter. Yes, butter. So, we used to call Aaron the butter man. Yeah, since he would climb up on the top of counters and the cabinets on the top of the fridge, wherever you hit it, Aaron would find it. Because he wanted to take his finger and plop it right into his mouth. Some people like candy bars, some people like popsicles. Aaron likes sticks of butter. However, apparently there is a secret there, because we thought Aaron was going to become a plump, chubby kid. However, look at the guy, strong, handsome. Is there anything else you're going to say? All right. Number three, Toyota Camrys really are the new sports car. Aaron has always been into fast exotic cars, hence the reason he named his first car Ferrari. Not sure what it implies, maybe a rare sort of Ferrari that deceives the eye from thinking it's something different than a Toyota Camry. Today, Aaron drives an inline 4-cylinder, 2.5-liter, 178 horsepower, 170 foot-pounds of torque Toyota Camry. Leather seats included in that package. Probably is actually, some of you just knew what I said. All right, so all kidding aside here, what a beautiful couple. I mean, really, I look at you guys and I don't know, it just brings tears of joy to my heart to see you guys together. And just the love Aaron has for you, Tori, and the love, Tori, that you share from my brother. And you know, it's crazy because now Aaron, seeing him married, has a different set of responsibilities than he had 2 hours ago. It actually makes me think of the day that my wife and I were married. And in some ways, Aaron's in a similar spot, but in others, he's much further advanced than I was at his age. And I want to share a few of the things that I've actually seen from Aaron and his story and his growth as a man of God. So one of the ways that I've seen Aaron grow is in his heart for people. He has a unique way of relating and connecting to the individuals he meets. He's the most genuine and kind, caring person that you'll ever meet. Aaron's the type of person that he'll take time to listen to your story. You won't just be heard, he'll actually listen. Aaron has grown in his desire to serve others well. He looks for new ways. He looks for new ways to help those around him, which actually it kind of makes sense because Aaron received a speeding ticket in Florida, and it makes sense because he couldn't find a better way to actually. Oh my gosh. Amen. My phone glitched. Hang on. Where was it? Oh, yeah. Wait, no, not there yet. It literally actually shot the top of the thing. Yeah. Okay, so here has a speeding ticket. Yep. Okay, so he couldn't think of a better way to offer up those service hours to the individuals of Fort Myers, Florida. So, anyway, most importantly, getting back to the serious point is Aaron's faith. I've seen him continually mature in Christ and turn into the man of God that the Father wants Aaron to be. Aaron's heart is found in serving the Lord and living by what Scripture teaches. And that's evident by how Aaron lives out his life. From everything that I just shared with you guys, this is why Aaron is ready for that next step in marriage. He will undoubtedly be a good husband and future father, as I can't hear you say. Future father. So, Aaron and Tori, in the 5 years that I've been married, there's a few things that I want to share with you that I wish I had known better going into marriage. First, learn to speak the other's love language. Speaking each other's love language will enable you to communicate well and in a way that demonstrates your deep care for one another. Second, live sacrificially to God and to one another. Realize that as you make this commitment to each other, you are committing to put the Lord first, your spouse second, and yourself last. Always in that order. Finally, pray for your spouse. Ask God to guide them in His way and not in yours. Not that He will change them for your good, but for His. And as a result, it will be for your good. Aaron, I charge you to always find new ways of loving Tori. Encourage her in the Lord, pray for her, and let her know how beautiful she is in your eyes. Tori, I charge you to affirm Aaron and his efforts to care and provide for you. Respect, admire, and believe in him in all he does. Marriage is a lifetime commitment, and I'm so happy that you both found one another to share life with. Paul says it best in Ephesians 4, giving the last few commands for Christian living. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. I love you both dearly, and I want you to know that whatever comes your way through Christ, there's always a solution. So with that said, let's raise our glasses to Aaron and Tori, the beautiful couple that they are.
Hi, good evening everybody. My name is Hallie. I'm Aaron's little sister, and now Tori's little sister too, so that's cool. They asked me to do something, and I decided to write a poem for them. This is a little warning. My poems always rhyme, so it's going to be really cheesy, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So this is called Us from your sis. He was a guy in the audience, listening to her speak. She was the girl on stage, lively yet meek. He waited with a friend, 30 minutes had passed. Let's go home, he said, so they left at last. A year and a half later, these two finally met. She got smacked, and he started falling for a beautiful brunette. They knew right away that this was forever. They talked to Jesus and said, wow, how clever. A few months later, Aaron got down on one knee. I love you, Tori and Sylvester. Will you marry me? She screamed yes as she was swept off her feet. These two together are 100% complete. Today we witness Tori and Aaron's love for each other, my new sister and my youngest brother. Here's to your day and your happily ever after. I know your lives will be filled with endless amounts of laughter. So, if you guys want to raise your glasses and take a drink, here's to Tori and Aaron.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brett, and me and Aaron met about 4 years ago at Nygaard Wesleyan, along with many other guys here at the table. So when thinking about where to start off my speech, I thought no better place than to describe the first few moments I had with Aaron, which actually started off the first week of freshman year of college at orientation, where I soon had a young Aaron Nygaard and Ike Wharton
trying to convince me that they were cousins. And recently found out that one of us at this table still believed that until about a year ago. Not going to name names, but Lewis. But no, one thing that really came to mind when I thought about mine and Aaron's relationship is this story that I'll share in a moment, but I just wanted to explain first of how I really believe it just encapsulates the humor of mine and Aaron's relationship, but also the moments where him and I have had so many heart-to-heart moments with the Lord has guided us in our moments together, speaking from our heart to the other person. So this time took place, I believe, a few months into school, freshman year. And for those of you who don't know, there's two main guy dorms on campus. And I had the pleasure of living in South Hall with Aaron and a lot of other guys here. But the thing was that I was on the first floor while Aaron and the other guys were on the third. I don't know if Aaron knows where this is going. But, so one night I went up to the third floor to see what's going on. And going to stare around the corner. And on the left side, I see 10 to 15 different guys lined up. I'm like, oh, okay, don't know what's going on here. Right side, same thing. And lo and behold, coming this way, running full speed, was a butt-naked Aaron Nygaard. And at that point, I knew the third floor was indeed a cult. No, but for real, what was so, not only is that a funny story, but what even was cool about it afterwards was, actually, I don't know if everyone remembers this part, but at that time, someone happened to, I think threw something at Aaron, and it kind of, as anyone can imagine, getting something thrown at you is not the most enjoyable, and so I believe at that time, Aaron kind of left in a bit of a hurry, and I just shot him a text, and I was just like, hey man, not sure what you're feeling right now, but if you want to talk, I'm here for you. And this is an interesting transition, but it was actually that night that Aaron shared what he felt the Lord put on his heart. Some powerful and really encouraging words to me that have impacted me still to this day. And I share that story not only because it's really funny, but because I believe, like I said, it really does put together my and Aaron's relationship. A whole lot of humor, not always going Aaron being naked, but a whole lot of humor, but then also really just so many moments where Aaron has spoken to my heart when I needed it, and vice versa. And so I wanted to read out of Ephesians. Today I know there's been quite a few others of us who have done that, but I just think that this passage really speaks to your guys' relationship. And so yeah, in Ephesians 5, verse 25, it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ loves the church, because we are members of his body. And not only does that whole passage apply to the covenant that you guys are now coming into, but specifically verse 26, it says that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. And just how already in the 4 years that I've known you, Aaron, and the times I've gotten to know you, Tori, and Human Life, and the different road trips that we've taken as a group, Aaron, I just want to challenge, but also encourage you to continue to wash Tori in the Word, to continue to call her higher as you set that standard yourself. And I just, I say right now that I myself will continue to challenge you to do that and hold true to that. So yeah, I wanted to share those things and just really say how much you have been a blessing in my life. Over these last 4 years, there's been so many moments where there are times, so many good, but so many moments, as you know, that there's really real moments where you can feel abandoned, lonely, and you have a keen sense experienced that in my life. From you, I've also seen it that you've done in others' lives. And Tori, I can honestly say that I think there's no better for to be married to Aaron. I think the experience that I have gotten through being on the prayer team with you, Human Life, and just the times that we've had together through different church-related events, just the bold woman that you are. And I know that can be something that you can hear and you can be like, okay, yeah, maybe. Like I see how maybe you think that, but I truly do mean that when I say that. And yeah, and Aaron, just your tender heart has been one that does not go unnoticed. And I really cherish both of you guys so much. So, cheers to Aaron and Tori and their marriage.
Hi. Okay, super impressive that he didn't read any of that, so way to go, Brett. I'm going to be reading my speech. But for those of you that don't know, I'm Taylor, and I'm a good friend of the Nygaards, which is really fun to say. But seriously, Tori has been like such a good friend. I can't look at you, I'm going to cry. Tori's been such a good friend to me throughout college. She's really been more like a sister, honestly. There was actually a time in our friendship that when we would go to places together, and or if we would go to places without the other person, someone would be like, oh, where's Tori? Where's Taylor? Like, that's how close we were. And how we still are. But for those of you who know or knew Tori and I during our sophomore year of college, you know that we love to stay up really late and do really dumb stuff. And so while I will spare you the famous spoken word videos to songs like Juju on That Beat and At Night, if you're interested, come see me afterwards because they're super entertaining. But I wanted to remind you how valuable those memories are. One thing I really love about Tori is her adventurous spirit and that she's always up for an adventure, even if it's maybe sometimes to a fault. The phrase "you won't" got us in trouble a lot. Yeah, many times we found ourselves spontaneously jumping in a river or climbing unfinished bridges, entering cars every way but the door, and of course sitting in a Steak and Shake booth at 3 a.m. at least 3 times a week. And while I think we've moved out of that phase, I would encourage you to take that same adventurous spirit with you into your marriage that Jesus gave you. And just pursue the plans that God has for you guys. But really, Tori and I's friendship goes beyond funny jokes and cool adventures. We could either be laughing our butts off about something or processing the deepest parts of our heart. Something you might hear people say is like, oh, I feel that on a spiritual level. You know, when someone says something, you're like, I feel that on a spiritual level. That is literally what happens when I talk to Tori. I'm just really thankful that God has given me a friend who stays by my side, and even when she doesn't understand, and she understands a lot of me, but even if she doesn't, she stays by my side and she fights for me on a spiritual level. Tori pursues obedience to the Father above everything, and because of that, she doesn't back down from the hard stuff, and she embraces every situation through the eyes of Jesus. Tori, you reflect Jesus so well in your friendships, and I think I speak for all of us girls up here when I say that our prayer has been that God would give you a husband who will fight for you on a spiritual level and reflect Jesus to you and pursue the dreams and adventures that God has given you. Aaron, you are that dude. I remember the first time that you and Tori had a conversation at church, and I remember this conversation because while Tori and I were driving back and debriefing like what God had done, she kept dropping your name in conversation. It would be like we'd be talking about something, she'd be like, "Oh man, Aaron said something like that earlier today," and I was like, "Okay, Tori, I think she likes this guy." So really, I was just patiently waiting for her to disclose this information to me. And so later that night, when we got home from church, we sat on the couch and just had random surface level conversations and awkward pauses because I was just waiting for her to tell me that she was interested until she finally broke the silence and said, "I think that I want Aaron to ask me on a date." And I was like, I knew it! And look at where we are now, so hey, it worked out.
hard. Aaron, you lead and love Tori so well, and whether it's by organizing her room, because people like Tori and I, we need organization in our lives, or playing Sorry with her at 1 a.m., which was a regular occurrence for them, or just, nurturing her passions and dreams, or simply reflecting Jesus in the way you treat her, I'm confident that you are a gift from God to Tori. And I just know that God has incredible plans for you guys in marriage and in missions and just a life poured out before Him. So, let's all raise a glass and celebrate Tori and Aaron.